The story opens deep in the Amazon rainforest, where a woman named Anna and her partner are searching for a boat to continue their expedition. Suddenly, eerie sounds echo through the jungle. At first, it seems harmless, just a monkey, but Anna turns serious and tells her partner that whatever they are about to face will change their lives forever. She moves ahead on her own, unaware that someone is watching her from the shadows. Two figures trail behind her. As Anna runs, one of her pursuers is suddenly grabbed and dragged away by a massive anaconda. The scene then cuts to a completely different setting. A man named Doug Mallister is pitching a dramatic action sequence for a script. However, the couple listening to him interrupts and reminds him that this is supposed to be their wedding video. They want something romantic and emotional, not terrifying. Doug argues that they said they liked horror, so he tried to make it unique. The couple shuts him down, saying this isn't a movie, it's their wedding. Next, we meet an actor named Griff, who is rehearsing lines while having his makeup done. He delivers his performance with intense passion, but the truth is he's just an extra. His over-the-top acting annoys everyone, and he's fired on the spot. As he leaves, Griff notices a poster for Anaconda. At the same time, he receives a voicemail from Doug, who says he ran into Griff's mom and heard that Griff landed a big role. Doug tells him he's proud. Meanwhile, Doug's father sits him down for a serious talk. He tells Doug that this may not be the life he dreamed of, but it's stable. His father is about to retire, and soon everything will belong to Doug. It's a comfortable life, maybe not amazing, but still a good one. That day also happens to be Doug's birthday, but he doesn't feel like celebrating. He goes home, only to find a surprise party waiting for him. His friends Kenny and Claire are there, and to his surprise, Griff shows up too. Griff plays an old short film they all made as kids called The Quatch. Doug is shocked that a copy of it still exists. Everyone watches the old film and has a great time. In the final scene, Griff's character defeats the monster and saves everyone. The next day, while eating at a restaurant, Griff drops a huge surprise. He reveals that he actually owns the rights to Anaconda. The original movie was based on a novel written by a Japanese author, and after the author passed away, his widow, who happened to be a fan of the 4 episodes Griff appeared in on SWAT, gave him the rights. Now Griff wants all of them to work together and reboot the movie. Kenny immediately gets excited and agrees. Claire tries to avoid the idea at first, but Griff eventually convinces her. Doug hesitates. He tells Griff he's sorry, but he can't do it. Griff reminds him of their childhood, staying up late until 4 in the morning watching horror films. Still, Doug shakes his head and says they're not kids anymore. Later, Doug goes home and finds his son watching their old movie. His wife encourages him, telling him to go make the film. While editing yet another wedding video, something finally clicks inside Doug and says, "Let's do it. Let's reboot Anaconda." Doug starts writing the script. To make the movie, they'll need a riverboat, a local captain, and about $2.5 million. But the bank only approves a loan of $9,400, so they slash the budget down to $43,000. They also decide the movie needs more depth than just a giant snake, so Doug and Griff add a theme of generational trauma. Everyone loves the script Doug comes up with. Kenny tells Doug that he knows they've had problems in the past, like that time at a wedding when Kenny got drunk and fell into the cake. But now he claims he's getting sober, saying he only drinks beer and wine. Doug agrees to give him another chance. As they prepare to leave for the Amazon, Doug's son gives him a small trophy. Instead of saying "World's Greatest Dad," it simply says "Greatest Doug." The whole team then arrives in the Brazilian Amazon. Doug mentions that he read anacondas can wait in the water for days, stalking their prey before suddenly striking. Right after he says this, a man walks up and tells them a story about how an anaconda once squeezed a woman so tightly that her eyes popped out. That woman was his grandmother. The man introduces himself as Santiago, the snake handler Kenny hired for the shoot. Anna is also there, along with the men who were chasing her earlier. When she spots them, she pulls out a knife. Santiago then introduces everyone to his snake, which he treats like a close friend. He says he loves it more than anything. He shows them the massive anaconda named Eta, and everyone is stunned by its size. Santiago also mentions rumors of even bigger anacondas living deep in the jungle. As he places Eta's cage onto the boat, the door opens slightly, creating a sense of danger right from the start. Just then, Anna finds the keys to a boat belonging to a man who is fast asleep nearby. She quietly takes them and walks over to Doug's crew, claiming that they spoke to her father earlier and that he is currently in the hospital. She says she needs to take this boat for routine maintenance, which means the crew will have to look for another one. However, she adds that every other boat in the area is already booked. Doug explains that they've waited their whole lives to make this movie together and can't afford to lose this chance. The crew is impressed by how nice the boat is, but the men searching for Anna soon figure out which boats have left the port and begin following her trail. That night, Doug gathers everyone and asks them to pray to the movie gods. The next day, filming finally begins. In the movie they're shooting, Claire's character hires a wild and unstable snake hunter, played by Griff, to track down and kill a legendary anaconda that wiped out her entire family. For Doug and Griff, making this film feels emotional and meaningful. They've always wanted to work together, but life kept getting in the way until now. Claire and Griff also share a past, as they dated years ago, and now they're playing romantically. That night, during dinner, the group jokes around, pretending to fight an invisible anaconda by headbutting the air. But later, when everyone is asleep, the real anaconda quietly slips out of its crate and slithers through the boat. Griff wakes up, sees the massive snake, and screams, waking everyone. He demands to know how this could happen. Santiago insists everything is under control and claims the snake always obeys him. He promises no one is in danger. The next day, Anna studies a jungle map while filming continues. Griff is scheduled to shoot a scene with the anaconda and is clearly terrified. He begs Doug to cancel it, but Doug reassures him, saying Santiago knows what he's doing. During the scene, Griff has to hold the snake close to his face and stare into its eyes. The fear overwhelms him, and he suddenly throws the anaconda away. The snake lands in the boat's propeller and is violently chopped apart. Santiago is left completely devastated by what just happened. Santiago is completely shattered by the loss of his snake, like a part of his soul has vanished. Doug ends up sending Griff away, while Santiago sets his beloved snake on fire and sings a farewell song for it. Not far away, the men who are hunting Anna continue watching the film crew from a distance. Suddenly, one of them hears strange ripples in the water beneath him. Before he can react, a gigantic anaconda bursts out and swallows him whole. Later on, Griff goes to Santiago to apologize. He tells him that he once lost a friend too and understands how painful it is. Santiago asks if that friend was also a snake. The two sit together, share a beer, and talk. Griff opens up about his failing acting career and how nothing ever seems to work out. Santiago encourages him, saying they don't deserve him and that he's meant to be a star. Drunk and emotional, Santiago suddenly declares that he's going to find another snake for the movie. In the middle of the night, he drags Griff into the jungle. He claims he can sense the snakes around them and explains that they can feel vibrations through the ground. They eventually split up and walk in different directions. Griff looks back and realizes Santiago has disappeared. Panic kicks in and he starts running. At the same time, Santiago is ambushed by a massive snake that lunges out of the water and grabs him. Griff rushes back to the boat and tells Doug everything. Doug insists Santiago will probably return with an even bigger snake, but if he doesn't show up soon, they'll go looking for him. After an hour passes with no sign of Santiago, Griff begins to freak out. Realizing something is wrong, Doug tells everyone they need to search for Santiago. They head deep into the jungle and soon come across an old camper van. Elsewhere, the men hunting Anna realize she's no longer on the boat and decide to search for her on foot. The film crew enters the camper van. Suddenly, Griff hears a strange noise outside. A dead body crashes onto the roof, and then the group comes face to face with a colossal anaconda. Anna screams that they need to escape, but the van won't start. Kenny says the relay must have failed and that it's under the hood, but his vision is blurry and he can't fix it. Doug snaps at him for lying about getting sober. Doug steps up. He quietly opens the hood, hoping the snake won't notice. But the moment the hood slams shut, the anaconda attacks. Doug barely makes it back inside. The creature is enormous, almost prehistoric. Just then, a gang of bikers suddenly appears and starts chasing them through the jungle. Anna warns them not to slow down because the people chasing them are illegal gold miners. The miners start shooting at the van, and Anna pulls out a gun and fires back to the boat. But a man is already there, aiming a weapon at them and demanding to know where Anna is. She sneaks up behind him and knocks him out. Anna tells the group she can get them out safely as long as they keep heading north. Doug just wants to go home, but Griff refuses to leave empty-handed. He feels completely defeated. Doug looks at the small award his son gave him, and suddenly an idea sparks in his mind. He rewrites the script to include Anna as a main character. The next day, Doug pitches the new concept to everyone. Instead of just hunting an anaconda, what if they run into a fearless woman trying to expose illegal gold miners? Now the story has two threats, the giant snake and the criminals. The whole team loves the idea. Griff even says it could be an awards-level movie. Doug agrees and decides they have to finish it. Anna joins the cast, but this new storyline pushes Claire and Griff's characters into the background, which frustrates both of them. The next day, when Doug looks for Griff, he hasn't even bothered to get ready. Griff sarcastically suggests they should just call the movie Anaconda. He reminds Doug that he only came on this trip because of him, and without that push, Doug would still be stuck filming weddings. Just then, a huge boat passes by. It's another crew filming a real Anaconda reboot. The truth comes out. Sony owns the rights, not Griff. Doug is furious and demands to know why Griff lied. Griff admits he did it so Doug would make the movie with him. Without that lie, it never would have happened. Doug fires him, but Griff says he already quit the night before. Griff grabs his gear, jumps into a small boat, and takes off. Claire tries to stop him, but he ignores her. He heads toward the Sony boat, only to find it completely destroyed. Suddenly, he sees a girl screaming for help. Before he can react, the Anaconda swallows her whole. Back with the others, Doug decides to keep filming without Griff. He says plans change and that's just part of making movies. But then Anna suddenly pulls out a gun and orders everyone off the boat. She forces Doug, Kenny, and Claire into the jungle. Meanwhile, Griff returns to find the boat empty. The only thing left behind is a gun. Deep in the jungle, Anna makes the group pull heavy bags out of the water. Inside them is gold. The truth is revealed. Anna herself is the real illegal miner. At that moment, a man appears and points a gun at her. He's a police officer who has been tracking her. Thinking the cop is a threat, Griff shoots him. Doug tells Griff that he just shot a police officer, grabs the gun and finishes the cop off herself. She then points the weapon at the rest of them, but Claire manages to rush her and knock the gun out of her hand. At that exact moment, the Anaconda explodes out of the water and swallows Anna whole. Everyone panics and runs in different directions. During the chaos, Doug is bitten by a spider and collapses, unable to move. Kenny says the venom needs to be neutralized and the only way is to pee on the bite. Griff admits he's completely dry. Kenny adds that he also needs to sit down to pee, so Griff ends up acting as his chair. After a long and awkward struggle, Kenny finally manages to pee on Doug, and everyone cheers in relief. Griff that has always been jealous of him for living the kind of life he never had the courage to pursue. But before the moment can sink in, the Anaconda suddenly grabs Doug and swallows him. The group runs in terror. Griff is crushed with guilt, realizing he's the reason Doug came here and now he's gone. Kenny says there's a wide open field ahead with their boat on the other side, but crossing it is too risky because they'll be fully exposed. They need some kind of distraction. Just then, they find Doug's body. Kenny checks his pulse and suggests something insane. They could use Doug as bait. If they drag him into the field and strap a wild boar onto his back, it might confuse the snake and buy them time to escape. Kenny ties the boar to Doug and even stuffs a squirrel into Doug's mouth, saying snakes love squirrel meat. They start running across the field while dragging him. The Anaconda heads straight for Doug, but suddenly Doug's eyes open. He's still alive. The others scream from a distance as Doug starts sprinting with the snake right behind him. Somehow, he keeps dodging it. Then the boar on his back wakes up and starts trying to bite him, but the Anaconda swallows the boar instead. Against all odds, Doug survives. He asks whose idea the squirrel was. Kenny tries to pretend it was a group decision, but Doug knows exactly who came up with it. They keep moving and soon stumble across the Sony film set, which is completely destroyed. Griff finds a walkie-talkie and hears someone respond on the other end. A flare suddenly shoots through the air and hits near the Anaconda. The voice belongs to Ice Cube. He explains that after the snake attacked, his entire crew scattered. Doug says they need to kill the snake before it kills all of them. They ask Ice Cube how the movie was supposed to end, but he admits their writer never finished the script and they started filming with only half of it. All Ice Cube knows is that they set up explosives all around the area. Kenny says he knows how to trigger the explosives. Ice Cube tells them he's going to look for the rest of his crew, but before leaving, everyone asks him for a selfie. They take a group photo together. Ice Cube then hands them one of his guns. The plan is set. Claire will turn on the generators, Kenny will manage the controls, and Griff and Doug will lure the Anaconda into the explosive zone and blow it up. Doug and Griff jump into a golf cart and speed off. They hear the Anaconda close behind, but instead of coming from the back, it suddenly appears from the side and starts chasing them. At the same time, Kenny loses the signal to the explosives. Claire and Kenny panic and try to get the system working again. The moment the Anaconda slithers into the explosive zone, Griff hits the trigger. Nothing happens. The system is dead. Kenny suddenly realizes the problem. He forgot to switch it on. Seconds later, the explosives finally go off and the Anaconda is blasted in flames. Everyone cheers, thinking it's over. But the celebration is short-lived. The Anaconda is still alive. Slowly, the massive snake moves toward them. Griff steps forward with the gun. He fires the flare gun at another explosive. The blast rips through the Anaconda's body, but its head is still moving. Doug then charges in and finishes it off by stabbing the snake's head with the small award his son once gave him. At last, the Anaconda is truly dead, and they have all survived. They go on to release their film, but since it's unauthorized, it never gets a proper theatrical release. Sony quickly sends them a cease and desist letter. In the end, Claire and Griff get married and ask Doug to direct their wedding video. Later, a woman approaches Doug and tells him she loved the illegal film so much that she wants him to direct the official Anaconda reboot. And somehow, Santiago is revealed to have survived as well. With that, the story finally comes to a close.